trouble!
Hello there, this is Stormdog, film enjoyer and amateur historian. My work has been published in the Funiburg Times. The last few videos have been on well-known, well-made, well-received movies. This time, let's go for something a bit different. As a prominent, respected journalist, I'll be asking the hard-hitting questions today. Is Double Trouble from 1992 a bad movie? With a score somewhere around a 4 on IMDb, should this be avoided at all costs, or is there something hiding there worth your time? In this action comedy, muscle-bound identical twin brothers, David Jade, played by David Paul, an upstanding LAPD detective, and Peter Jade, played by Peter Paul, in real life also twin brothers, a cocky cat burglar recently released from prison, find themselves on a collision course when Peter unwittingly uncovers the key to a massive underground diamond cache during a heist. When Peter's discovery draws the ire of a ruthless jewel smuggler, Philip Chamberlain, played by Roddy McDowall of all people, who murders David's partner to cover his tracks, the estranged siblings are forced to team up. Granted immunity for this cooperation, Peter joins David to dismantle Chamberlain's international smuggling ring, blending over-the-top brawls, cheesy one-liners, and brotherly banter in a high-stakes chase across Los Angeles. It ends up being a fun romp, and the two main characters are just so lovable. There are still some good stunts and squibs, and still some very funny moments. It's cheese, but it's just so fun. I can't really explain it any deeper, but it's just comfort food. It moves quickly, people are having fun, they're big and strong, and the secondary actors is a surprising list. The main gimmick is the two twin brothers, the Paul brothers. Real ones grew up with David and Peter instead of Jake and Logan. They were identical twin bodybuilders and actors famously known as the Barbarian Brothers. Born on March 8, 1957 in Hartford, Connecticut, they grew up in Rhode Island and became icons of 1980s muscle culture with their massive physiques, their outrageous antics, and low-budget action comedy films. They embodied the area's wild side of bodybuilding. Think a bit of Schwarzenegger meets the Three Stooges before fading into cult status. They were high school wrestlers who opened a gym in Narragansett, Rhode Island in the 70s. Inspired by stars like Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno, they moved to California in 1979 to chase their Hollywood dreams. Self-styled bad boys of bodybuilding, they trained unconventionally at Gold's Gym in Venice, wearing jeans, flannel shirts, and boots while performing feats like reverse grip 500-pound bench presses or chest curls with massive dumbbells. Peter was 6 feet tall at 235 pounds. David was 6'1" at 245 pounds. Despite their fame, they never competed formally in IFBB events, but were dubbed the world's strongest twins for personal appearances and grand openings. Featured in Sports Illustrated, Los Angeles Times, and bodybuilding magazines for their barbaric freestyle techniques, like Peter using David as added weight on triceps extensions. The brothers broke into acting with bit parts, but hit their stride in canon film-style B-movies, often playing dim-witted, muscle-bound twins with sophomore humor, one-liners, and over-the-top fights. Their chemistry as brothers was their secret weapon, though critics panned the wooden acting and plots. I've only seen a couple of their movies, and each has punched way above their weight due to how much fun these two are. They had an early role in DC Cab with Mr. T. They did a sword and sorcery with The Barbarians, very fitting for the two. It's the first I saw of theirs, and it is way more enjoyable than it has any right to. If you liked Conan, check it out. They dabbled like many celebrities of the day in being rappers, even doing some of the songs for their movie Twin Sitters. I have yet to see it, but it's on the list. David passed away in his sleep on March 6, 2020 at age 62. just 2 days shy of their 63rd birthday. Currently 68, Peter remains a fitness advocate, producer, and occasional actor or cinematographer. He's active in bodybuilding nostalgia circles. They're a time capsule of 80s excess. They're goofy, unapologetic, and fiercely brotherly in a way other actors can't replicate. I've heard that most, if not all, of their movies are out of print. At time of writing, this movie is available on Tubi. I'm really not sponsored by Tubi, but I'd totally be up for it. Roddy McDowall plays the main villain, and I'm always surprised by some of the roles he took in his career. He does play a good villain. Roderick Andrew Anthony Jude McDowall, born in London, England, to a merchant seaman father and aspiring actress mother. He was raised in a showbiz family and began acting at 5. He was discovered for British films and debuted in Murder in the Family in 1938. He fled World War II with his family to the US in 1940, landing in Hollywood. At age 12, he was in How Green Was My Valley. He was also around this time in My Friend Flicka and Lassie Come Home. He was Cornelius in the original Planet of the Apes. He did voice work for the Aristocrats, as well as Batman the Animated Series, The Rescuers, A Bug's Life. He was in the original Fright Night and Overboard. He was also an accomplished photographer. He published 5 books of celebrity portraits capturing stars like Elizabeth Taylor and Judy Garland. His work appeared in Life and Vogue. McDowall's versatility, spanning from Shakespeare to apes to campy villains, made him a beloved figure. His Planet of the Apes roles endures in pop culture with homages and various reboots. As well, he owned an extensive film memorabilia collection, including rare 16mm prints, which as a film fan is super cool, as well as recording auto diaries, later used in documentaries about his life. He appeared uncredited in Cleopatra to support Elizabeth Taylor. He died of lung cancer at 70 in Studio City, California in 1998. Tributes poured in from peers like Angela Lansbury and Charlton Heston, lauding his generosity and talent. For his age, he looks really good in this film. David Carradine has a bit part in here and does well with it, possibly because the role doesn't ask much. He's pretty renowned behind the scenes for being at least very drunk during filming. I really liked him in the original Kung Fu show, but I haven't revisited it in years. He of course has a great role in Kill Bill. He is a member of the prolific Carradine acting family. He was the son of character actor John Carradine and half-brother to Keith, Robert, and Bruce Carradine. His career spanned over 4 decades, marked by a distinctive screen presence and a mix of mainstream successes and very eclectic B-movie roles. This was probably another of his low-effort paychecks. His career has some highs, and it's got a lot of roles. I thought he was the epitome of cool as a kid, but on seeing more B-movies with him and taking a look at the behind the scenes, I've reevaluated. He was found dead on June 3rd, 2009 in a Bangkok hotel room at age 72, officially ruled a death by autoerotic asphyxiation, though some family and associates disputed this. Supposedly, he was a lifelong martial artist. I'm not completely sure. We also have James Doohan, most famous from Star Trek. He was born James Montgomery Doohan on March 3rd, 1920 in Vancouver, British Columbia, and raised in Sarnia, Ontario. He enlisted in the Canadian Army during World War II, serving as a lieutenant in the Royal Canadian Artillery. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, he landed at Juno Beach, where he was shot 6 times, losing a finger and surviving a bullet to the chest, stopped, no joke, by a cigarette case. His war experiences shaped his resilience and later public persona. He himself was a movie character, yet ends up mostly playing mainly secondary characters in his films and TV. After the war, he trained at the neighborhood playhouse in New York City alongside actors like Leslie Nielsen, developing his craft in radio, theater, and early television. In Star Trek, he is credited with contributing to the development of the Klingon and Vulcan languages for Star Trek, showcasing his linguistic creativity. He was known for his professionalism, warmth, and camaraderie on the Star Trek sets, often mentoring younger actors. His military background gave him a disciplined work ethic, though he was also known for his humor and storytelling about his war experiences. He died on July 20th, 2005 at age 85 in Redmond, Washington, from complications of Alzheimer's and pneumonia, exacerbated by exposure to chemical agents during World War II. His ashes were sent into space in 2008 and 2021, a fitting tribute to his Star Trek legacy. A portion also resides in a memorial at the International Space Station. The director John Paragon did a lot of writing for the various iterations of Elvira and the Pee-wee character. He also directed Twin Sitters with the Paul brothers, did director work on Pee-wee's Playhouse and Silk Stockings. He was a key member of the improv troupe The Groundlings and contributed to Disney Imagineering in the 2000s, developing improv-based theme park experiences. He died on April 3, 2021 at age 66 in Palm Springs, California, from heart disease and chronic alcoholism. He was cremated and his ashes were held by friend Cassandra Elvira Peterson before internment in a Jambi the Genie themed urn at Hollywood Forever Cemetery on November 15, 2022, which was the character he played in the Pee-wee's Playhouse shows and films. The movie was shot primarily in Los Angeles and cut costs with its simple locations. It was released straight to VHS, created for the rental store. The film's score, composed by Kevin Kiner, leaned on synth-heavy, generic action beats typical of low-budget 90s films, and yet I just can't get enough. Unlike bigger productions, it lacked a memorable theme, but the music amplified the campy tone during fight scenes. The company behind this movie was the Motion Picture Corporation of America, MPCA, a prolific independent film production and distribution outfit founded in the 80s. MPCA specialized in low to mid-budget genre films, particularly direct-to-video releases, action comedies, and family-oriented projects. Established in 1986 by Brad Crevoy, who became the CEO, and Steven Stabler, who became the president, this company operated out of Los Angeles as a lean, efficient studio focusing on maximizing returns from modest investments. Crevoy was a former film publicist, and Stabler had experience in distribution, and they were able to build the company on a model of quick turnaround productions, often shot in 4 to 6 weeks, to hit the lucrative home video market. They emphasized ensemble casts with recognizable B-movie stars to boost their marketability, while keeping the budgets under $5 million. Distribution deals with major studios like MGM, which released this film's DVD, helped amplify their reach. They released films like The Barbarians and Twin Sitters from the Paul brothers, the family classic The Sandlot, Body Slam, a wrestling comedy, and The Wraith, an extremely fun and cool Charlie Sheen movie with a great car and solid action, as well as TV movies like Baywatch, Hawaiian Wedding. They pivoted to TV production like The Outer Limits revival in the 90s and licensing, but scaled back film outputs by the mid-2000s. They are still operational as MPCA Inc., and the company focuses on content management, remastering older titles for streaming, for platforms like Tubi or Prime Video, and occasional new projects. Crevoy and Stabler remain involved, with MPCA owning rights to a vast library that's a goldmine for nostalgia-driven retro content. I noticed one of the writers who worked on this film was Kurt Wimmer, a man responsible for a lot of great action. His portfolio is really great. He was the director of One Man's Justice with Brian Bosworth, the extremely fun and stylish Equilibrium, Fight Me, and the still fun Ultraviolet with Mia Jovovich, fan favorite of every teen boy of the early 2000s. I've heard the unrated cut of that is way better. This was his first writing job in cinema, and after this he wrote for the Thomas Crown Affair remake, Equilibrium, Ultraviolet, the Keanu Reeves cop movie Street Kings, very choice stuff, the vigilante justice movie Law Abiding Citizen, Salt, a very fun Angelina Jolie operative movie, the divisive Total Recall remake, a decent action movie, the unfortunate Point Break remake, The Expendables 4, which has some fun action at the beginning and end but feels horrible in the middle, and The Beekeeper, which he is also working on the sequel of. Very humble beginnings for a guy who seems to now be at the top of his game. The other two writers on this film, Jeffrey Kearns and Charles Osborne, have done credits on almost nothing else. The film didn't get good reviews, and still doesn't, but it is a very good B-movie action fun with fun banter, feats of strength, and still some great 90s squibs in action. Maybe it's a guilty pleasure, but I really enjoyed it and didn't feel let down. It was a great, greasy hamburger with extra cheese, and if you can lower your distinguished self, you might actually have a lot of fun with this. It's not a so bad it's good type that you lambaste the whole time. It's something genuinely fun and goofy. I recommend it and feel like the 4.2 is too low. To me, it is a good movie. Until next time, this has been Stormdog.
Got a possible bomb threat. Which one is Councilman Stewart's car?
It's a BMW, license number 2 SAM 564.
Excuse me, which way did I go? Thanks.